In good evening, everyone. It's your girl Menina from Legacy BookBar. We are here another week, and tonight is episode 4 of Legacy BookBar Sip and Chat. Tonight, I have the pleasure of talking with Maureen Mays. She is an author of poetry. She was probably one of our first authors in this genre that signed to sign to my bookstore, and she is fast becoming a favorite with our fans here with Legacy Book Bar. So help me welcome her to the chat. Hey Maureen, how are you?
Hey, I'm doing good with everything that's going on. I'm actually going to invite everybody and do a watch party.
Yes. Remember, everyone, share it with your friends, share it with your family, get those watch parties started. So we all can hear about Maureen and Legacy Book Bar. So I feel like I haven't talked to you in so long.
It's not a feeling. It's real. I haven't had a chance to hug you, touch you. It's been months.
I know. Oh my gracious. Well, you're looking good.
Thank you.
Yes, boo. Yeah, so I know back in February, if anyone remembers, Legacy Book Bar did their first pop-ups at White Marsh Mall, and Maureen actually came down. She showed her support. She actually, I think, was leaving a poetry event. She was coming to see me, and then she was going to another event in the same day. That is support people. This is how we make it work. Started.
Oh, very good.
Did their pop-up at White Marsh Mall, and Maureen actually came down. I hear myself back. That's so great. Was leaving a poetry event. Get started. And we should go to another event in the same day. That is important. People in the chat. Good evening. Looks like Karen is on with us. Welcome. So, let's talk about you.
Yes.
Your poetry is so amazing. I must say, everyone knows me, knows that I am an avid reader of all genres. Just so I can just know what's out there, what's coming. So I can, start to have a vast knowledge, because if you want to be in this book industry, you have to know what your fans, what your readers are looking for. So let's talk about, how did you get into the genre of poetry?
Well, I got into the genre of poetry because of the fact that you can use poetry as healing.
Okay.
Being able to write your thoughts out, whether you're happy, sad, angry, mad, and deciding whether or not you want to share that or not. It took a long time before I actually opened up and really started sharing the things that I was writing. So I was a closet writer. I was I would write my stuff out and put it in a little notebook and my journal, and it was for me. So definitely therapy, and I've been writing for years. Writing as a teenager, writing as a young adult, just writing for years, and it was for therapy. I didn't know at the time it was for therapy, but it was therapy.
Okay. So tell us, because everyone that's going to tune in tonight and is going to share, they don't know either one of us. And I'll talk about myself and Legacy Book Bar towards the end. So give us a little snapshot into who you are, outside of being the author.
Okay, well, I'm a mom of 2 teenagers doing virtual learning. Pray for us.
Pray for us.
I actually attended Howard University for a few years.
Okay.
I ended up later on graduating from UMUC, which is now UMGC. They
Okay.
changed the name.
Okay.
Getting a degree in human resource management.
Mm-hmm.
I'm actually a human resource generalist. That's what I do for a living.
Okay.
Um, I'm also an entrepreneur outside of being an author.
Mm-hmm.
I also dibble a little bit into real estate,
Okay.
vending machines, and painting. So,
Is that your paintings behind you?
yes, yes. Another form of therapy.
Okay.
Another form of therapy. So, yes, I really enjoy just having a glass of wine
Mm-hmm.
on a Friday night
Okay.
and just me and the brush. And sometimes words will come from that. Just,
Okay.
quieting your thoughts, quieting your spirit. So, yeah.
Okay.
And I also love gardening. So, that's I've been gardening now for maybe 5 years. So, I like to
Okay.
garden too.
So seems like you're very like in touch with yourself, very artistic with your choices of careers and hobbies. It sounds like.
Um, I guess so, but not on purpose.
Right.
But, not on purpose, but with that in mind, when you really get in touch with yourself,
Mm-hmm.
you only do those things that bring you pleasure.
Absolutely.
So, and music, we
Absolutely.
can't forget music. Love
Right.
music.
I know. I remember I was doing Artist Thursdays, and you was like, "Oh, I love this, and I love jazz, and I just think I need to bring back Artist Thursdays because that was really fun." Pick I would do a genre, and then you would have to pick your favorite artist or album in that genre. I
Mm,
think I might bring that back. That was actually a good idea because we both are music lovers.
yes, that's the one thing about everything that's going on right now. I really miss live music, being able to go out and hear live music. And I'm a little paranoid. I'm not quite ready to just
Understood. Understood.
run out there, whether I have a mask on or not. I'm just not.
Right, I hear you. I hear you. No, these COVID streets is not for play at all. We all
You
have
said
to
COVID streets.
because this is a whole different. This is different. This isn't, first you had to be worried about your safety, where you going, your neighborhoods you were going in, and now you have to worry about COVID. And COVID is just as brutal as whatever neighborhood, if it's a sketchier part of town, now you got to worry about this over a whole global pandemic. And this is something, unfortunately, we were not prepared for. So we have to kind of do the best that we can. I was really myself getting into, I always love live music myself. My husband is the house head, so he would take me with him to go listen to house music, and that's not my genre, but I would go because he wanted to go. And now it's like, dang, I would go listen to some house music. It's safe right now. But yeah, that's not happening anytime soon. So guess I'll just play it in the house and let Alexa be our friend.
Yes,
Alexa seems to be the safest bet at this
that's
point.
the safest bet. Yes.
Absolutely. So, if you people who are tuning in tonight that they don't know, 3 of your books are actually sold at Legacy BookBar. So if you didn't know, and you're just tuning in for the first time, and you are a fan of poetry or you know someone that is a fan, I want you guys to go to www.legacybookbar.com. Yes. And Maureen is actually holding up one of her 3 books that she has with us. And as we are on our chat tonight, we are actually going to have her talk to us a little bit about her books. We're not going to go super in depth because we want you to be a part of the book club when we resume, I want to say January 2021. So we just want to make sure that you guys are ready. And hopefully this broadcast will get you ready for our book club starting 2021. So let's see, what book should we start with tonight? Let's see. Well, let's start with Married It's Complicated, because I want to say this one was not quite poetry, but
No.
it was a crowd pleaser. Yes, Maureen has it, and I have it as well. Married It's Complicated. Now, Maureen and I both, we're married, right? Before I say we're both married.
No, I'm happily divorced, honey. Not happily married yet, but will be happily
Wait, let me
married.
put that. Oh my Lord! I hope I spelled that right. If I didn't spell it right, y'all don't kill me. I love it. So Maureen is happily divorced. I am happily married.
Happily married
on my second marriage. So I totally get where she's coming from with the happily divorced. So I've been there. I totally get that. So let's actually talk about that one now. Oh, actually, before we do that, let's go. We got a couple of friends in the chats. We have Karen, who's my mom. She's here every night. She said, very artistic when you were talking about gardening and your painting and your writing. So she said you're super creative. Kayla Anderson said Maureen Mays with the happy face.
Kayla.
Janica Nicole Oliver Clark. Yay. She gave a smiley face. Monday Nettles gave hand claps. Queen Makita Booker says yes, have all of her books. Absolutely. So Queen Makita, next year we hope to see you at on the calls for the book clubs when they are posted. Then Jay also said, I can't. I think that was the happily divorced part. Cracked me up too. And then Queen said yes, not right yet. So I think that was not happily married yet is what she was talking about. I have Love You, Maureen from MJ Dilworth. You got some fans here tonight, sis. Yes, thank you. All of you guys, please make sure you share your feed, because you could have family or friends that have not purchased Maureen's book, and we can actually kind of kill two birds with one stone. They can purchase your good family or friend's book, because her books are amazing, and they can support a small Black owned business. So they can actually support you in one. So make sure you guys are doing the watch parties and you are sharing. Live, Love, Life, Tanya. We are getting to that advice for writers. So stick with us, as we'll be here for a little bit. We're going to have all of those questions, okay? And you guys, as you're tuning in, please feel free to put your questions in the chat. I will do my best to get to all of the questions tonight, okay? So, Married It's Complicated. Let's briefly talk about this book, madam.
Okay, well, this is my first novel.
Okay.
So this was a stretch for me. This was definitely growth. And again, I first started writing for healing. And, you know, at the time I was going through a divorce, and I was in different circles, had privy to the male point of view as well as the female point of view. Mm-hmm. And so with that said, my pen led me to write. And what I was able to create was somewhat of a gumbo of people's different experiences of marriage being complicated, but I was able to create a story out of it. And so with that story came some different scenarios that happened in the story that, you know, people could relate to. Even, you know, some of the, I was very surprised because even some of the men who read my novel said they loved it. And that's important to me because one of my favorite novelists is Terry McMillan. And I didn't want to create a Waiting to Exhale type of experience. I didn't want to create a novel where it felt like it was male bashing. I wanted to create a novel where it was full circle in some respect. So that story is not finished. I'm actually working on the second novel. It's taking a little bit of time, but I can't wait till it's done. Uh-oh, did I lose you?
Okay.
Okay, there you go.
There we go. Okay. Woo! Technical difficulties, but we're here. Guys, just hang with us. If we lose you for a second, just hang with us. We'll make sure we get the feed right back. So just to hop back, Marie, I think the last thing I heard was your favorite novelist was Terry McMillan, and you didn't want to create I'm waiting to exhale type of book. Was the last thing? Okay.
Correct. And when I wrote my novel, although don't want to give too much away, although the husband does not have a lot of chapters.
Okay.
The chapters that he does have speaks volumes. Because we know that men in general don't have a lot of words.
Exactly.
But their presence is strong.
Absolutely.
So, and I definitely wanted to make sure I captured that and created that. So I'm definitely looking forward to hearing more feedback from the novel. And if you have read the novel, please send me a DM, send me a message. Tell me what you thought about the novel. You can go to mmauthor.com and make your comments there. You can do a review. Please do a review, because I read all reviews, whether they're good or bad. I take it all. So all of it is developmental growth.
Yes, and then also hopefully starting end of 2020 or going into 2021, Legacy BookBar will have the option for people to leave. What is going on with the internet today? This is crazy. I'm about to kick off.
They have the option for people to
say it again. I'm sorry.
You said at the end of 2020, they'll have the option for people to.
Yes. So I'm working with my web designer to have a review section on the website. So people, after they read the books, they'll be able to leave a review. And because I feel like authors need that. Like right now, a lot of the authors, if they either have their own personal website or they only have the reviews coming from Amazon. But now that a lot of you are selling your books through me and through Legacy BookBar, I feel like you should have another set of eyes, and you should be able to hear and see what people are talking about your book, if it's good or bad. Right now, everything's good. So, but you want to see that, because some people, it can be constructive and it could really help. So we hopefully will be able to get that up and running starting end of 2020 into 2021. That's something we are working on as the year goes on. So I'm
looking forward to that.
Yeah, I know. So many of the authors are like, "Where's the review section?" I'm like, "It's coming. It's in the works." I had to switch to a new web designer, and she is amazing. So if you haven't looked at it since I think you first signed on, go into it now. Well, not now, but go into it later and look at it. It looks completely different from how it was then. If you're just tuning in, we are talking to Maureen Mays. She is a Jane of all trades. She gardens, she paints, she writes, she does spoken word, she's in real estate, she's in the HR. And right now we are talking about one of her 3 books called Married It's Complicated. Now you can purchase Married It's Complicated at www.legacybookbar.com. Here is the book. You can purchase that. We each have our own copies. So make sure you go in and purchase this book. You actually have until September the 30th to use those shop codes that are listed. So if you wanted to purchase all 3 of her books, you actually have the opportunity to use one of the shop codes and get up to 15% off. And remember, the purchasing from Legacy BookBar is killing 2 birds with 1 stone. You will support a self-published Black author. You will support a small business owner and a Black owner. And I think that's it.
And a woman.
And a woman, like 2 Black women, self-published authors, small business owner, Black entrepreneurs, like all of the hashtags you find on Instagram. Between the 2 of us, this is what we are. So, but I'm going to read a quick synopsis from the back of the book. It says, Paul and Catherine Green are married with twins. I'm already done. Already done. They are an attractive couple with the house and cars to match. From the outside looking in, they are the perfect couple. It appears that they have it all. However, once you enter their lives, you begin to see the brokenness. I'm going to actually stop there because that actually says a lot. If you are, I'm not going to say necessarily married, but I think if you're like that committed relationship, you're living together, and it's that point where it gets a little rocky and you got to figure it out. This is that book, and we have to figure out and read, how does Paul and Catherine figure it out? Do they figure it out? We don't know. But you purchase the book, you'll find out. So let's talk about, let's see. I play like eeny, meeny, miny, mo over here. Let's see. Love Still Smiles on Dark Days. Let's talk about this, sis.
Yeah.
So let's talk about it. Tell us a little bit about this book.
You know what happened, Queen? This is how I write.
Okay.
I write on stickies, napkins. I email myself poems, and it was getting to be too many.
Okay.
So I think I have a book. And it had been years since I published my first collection of poetry.
Okay.
This is actually my second collection of poetry.
Okay.
And what came to mind was one of the things that I always say. It's not necessarily a mantra, but it's one of those things that I always say. People ask me, how are you? And I say, I won't complain. And I don't say that to disregard what I may be feeling or disregard things that may be going on in my life. But I truly believe that it could be worse. I truly believe that love still smiles on dark days.
Absolutely.
And so that's my collection of poetry. These are my coasters. You like
I do love them. Oh.
So that's how Love Still Smiles on Dark Days came about. It's a collection of poetry from a couple of years that I kind of compiled. And after looking at some of the poetry, that was the title that came to mind.
Okay. So, before we leave tonight, I'm going to have you do one of your poetry before we leave. I'm going to let you decide which one. That's going to be towards the end of the broadcast. So
now, I have over 150 poems. You can't make me decide.
You have whatever one you want. You can do the latest one you just did. Think about it. We
let the audience decide. We'll take any requests.
Any requests from the audience.
Let's see if the audience has any requests.
Yes. Okay.
I think that'll be fair.
The guest gets my guest said let the audience choose, and that is what we're going to do. So, audience, at the end of the broadcast, we are going to have Maureen give us one of her poetry, and you tell us what you want to hear. You tell us. We're here for you. Okay? So, third book, The Color of Life in the House of May. Tell us about this. Yes. Erica served my book. Yes, yes.
So this is my first book.
Really? Okay.
It's actually a reprint. It's actually a reprint. This is the original book.
Oh, okay.
So it's pretty old. It's a little battered, tattered. So what happened was when I started getting back into publishing and writing, it's all about branding these days, right? It's about yourself matching. And as you can tell, this book doesn't necessarily flow with my other books. And so I started to rebrand. And this book is my first book. And I felt like this cover went better with the poems, and it went better with the perfection that was going on inside of the book as it relates to the poetry. It's called The Color of Life in the House of Me. And me is a name that people used to call me.
Really?
Some still call me me. And after my divorce, that was the only thing I wanted to be. Me, myself, and I. So I put the word and I together and became me. But I use it interchangeably to describe where we should be at all times. Just be yourself. With yourself. Really accept and let your emotions be. Give your emotions a moment. Sometimes we allow our emotions to drive the entire train, and that is not the purpose. Give your emotions a minute to be, but don't let it drive the train. So The Color of Life in the House of Me is about all those emotions. And it's actually arranged in rooms of color. And that's how I divided the poetry up. So there's the color blue and room orange and red. Depending on where the poem fell in is where the room the poem into.
I love it. Oh, that is amazing. That is amazing. This is fast becoming a favorite genre for me. It is because I would go see spoken word artists. But it was like I would never go on my own. Like someone would say, "Hey, come with me," and I would go. And I'm like, "Oh, sure, no 2 for 1 drinks, why not? I'll go, not a problem." I always liked the experience when I went, but it wasn't something I particularly, especially when I was in my 20s, I was looking for. And of course, now being in this industry, you have to read and be aware of all genres, really. So I started, of course, I had yours. I was like, let's read them. Let's see. And it was like, oh, let me light a candle for a second. Let me put my jazz on. My husband laughs at me all the time. He says, "You are such an old head," because I am a product of my mother and my grandmother. So I will quickly, actually, my mother says I am my grandmother's child. I'm like reincarnated because I will put on Frank Sinatra, Sammy Davis, and a heartbeat. Light a candle, get my bottle of wine, and I am like zoned out. So, as the books are coming in, and I'm like, dang, this is good. Where have I been all my life, and why have I not? But I love it, and this is one of the reasons why I love this field that I chose is because I'm still excited. That passion for finding a new author, a new book, a new genre is still exciting to me. And it's just opening up a whole new world for me as far as literature is concerned. And it just makes me like, this is why I did this. Because I know if I feel this way when I'm out at these pop-ups and they're like, well, tell me what books do you have? And I can legit tell anybody, okay, I've read all of the books, and then let me tell you about this book. And they're like, wait, you read all of these? Absolutely. So going to the comments really quickly. Kayla Anders said, yes, Rat Pack. Yeah, man, that Frank Sinatra and the Dean Martin and the Sammy Davis. Yeah, I'm uber old school.
A whole vibe.
Oh, yes, a whole vibe. Exactly. I can go from angry to super chill in like 3 songs. And I'm like, yeah, why was I angry again? It's great. I love it. We have MJ Dilworth that says, I have the original. So I think you were talking about The Color of the House of this one. And he said he has the, if that's, no, that I can't. MJ, thank you. You said you had the original. Appreciate it. Karen says, Love Still Smiles on Dark Days. Love it. She loves the title. So now that we've talked about your books, I'm pretty sure the process was probably different when it comes to writing each of the three. So let's talk about, you said this one was your first one, right? The Color of the House. Mm-hmm. That was your first one. So talk to us about the writing process for this one.
So I have to go back to therapy. That was just simply therapy. Okay. There was a time where I didn't even realize I wanted to write a book. I just had all these papers of poems. It wasn't until she's now the first Black poet laureate of Alexandria, Virginia. It wasn't until I met her. This is like 10 years ago, I'm thinking. Okay. And I met her at a spoken word event, and she blew me away. And she actually influenced me to write. We never really spoke initially. Right. I was reading her books, and I would see her at spoken word, and she actually published this book. And so I said, I think I want to write a book. And I talked to her about it, and I did it. It just happened just like that. And one of the things that I want to share is when you are in the right spaces at the right time, you will not miss your blessings. Absolutely. So you be careful the spaces and the times that you are in, because if you're in the wrong space at the wrong time, it may be inevitable that you may miss your blessing. And what I mean by that is, at that time, I was going through some things, and I started going to spoken word as a let me get out the house, for a little bit. Let me congregate with some people who think like me, walk like me, because you're a writer, you're a little unique. And that atmosphere of spoken word and just being in the room, and it's a beautiful thing. And I just want to share with you all, if you all have never been to a spoken word, try to get on some of these virtual spoken words, because you never know how somebody's going to spit a poem and just blow your mind. And it is different when you're actually reading poetry. It is a little different. So that experience of being in the room with a poet, and they're giving it to you raw, the way they wrote it, they're pausing where you may not know where to pause, and you just get it. You just get that live show right there. It's just a beautiful thing.
Absolutely. So, for those that don't know, and they might be thinking, they have this whole notebook full of poems, and they don't know what to do with it. What's your advice for those authors, or potential aspiring authors, I should say?
A couple of things.
Okay.
I would definitely say pray about what is it you're supposed to be doing. Is it something therapeutic that you're just supposed to get out and keep in your journal, or is this a story that you are supposed to get out, share? And once that prayer is answered, there's a couple of things that needs to happen.
Okay.
Consistency, for one.
Mm-hmm.
And I say consistency first because once you start getting into publishing, you need to be consistent with the vision. You need to be
Mm-hmm.
consistent with the process because the process may be a little frustrating at times.
Mm-hmm.
So consistency, one. Well, let's back up. Prayer, because I said prayer first, right?
Mm-hmm.
So prayer,
Consistency.
and then three, we're going to put that in some action. So then
Mm-hmm.
we're gonna talk about if you want to self-publish, and self-publish is basically when you put your money up front. You
Okay.
pay for your product to be out there. You negotiate the prices, you find a self-publishing company, or you do it yourself.
Mm.
Or you can find a publisher that would pay for you to publish your work. So what we on number four? So find the publisher. The
Mm-hmm.
other thing I would say reach out to another author. There's several
Absolutely.
authors out here who will do consults. I
Mm-hmm.
actually do consults. And one of
Mm-hmm.
the things that I talk about during my consults are all of these items. And I'm not going to give it all away, but I'm going to talk about one thing that
Mm-hmm.
is near and dear to my heart as it relates to the process.
Mm-hmm.
Other thing that you really need to think about is finances. The reason why I say finances is is twofold. So
Mm-hmm.
one, you need a budget, and
Mm-hmm.
two, you need to be okay with it not making money.
Mm-hmm.
You have to be okay. You have to set realistic financial goals and say, are
Absolutely.
you doing this to make money, or are you doing this to get your story out?
Mm-hmm.
So I would definitely add that. And it's funny
Absolutely.
because, and the reason why I say that, because I I feel like I have inspired, encouraged, and prompted people to do more than I've sold books.
Mm. Okay.
So with that said, sometimes when you're doing what you're supposed to do, when you're fulfilling your purpose, your passion,
Mm-hmm.
sometimes it's not about the money.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, it's never about the money. Sometimes the
Exactly.
money comes way down the road.
Mm-hmm.
So all that to say, these are some of the things that I talk about when I do my consults, and
Absolutely.
I just
I
give it
love it.
all. So
Yeah. So we've had the three guests before you. They were all women, all Black women. We had Serendipity, we had A. Lewis, and we had Indy Jones.
mhm,
All of them are self-published authors. One is Serendipity is a has her own self-publishing company as well as being a published author under her company. A. Lewis is also self-published, and the same with Indy Jones. She's actually has Kumba Publishing Company, and she
mhm,
self-published under her books under her company as well. And they've all said the same thing: branding, consistency, and knowledge of this industry is key to longevity in this industry. I know a few years ago when I decided to embark on owning a bookstore, um, I probably researched for a year before I did any moves just to know um how much would it start, how much would it cost me. That was key. Like, well, how much does it cost to open up a bookstore? How
mhm,
much online? Where do you get books? What do you do? How do you do? Where do you, like, everything? I think I literally researched this for like 9 months. And then the first every time I clicked on a different article, I talked to someone different. They all said branding was key. We were not getting anywhere without proper branding. So luckily for me, I have a friend in Serendipity who was the first guest. And within her publishing company, she also does marketing and branding. And she helped me to get to this point of where I am now. And with talking to graphic designers and illustrators, I had no idea how hard and strenuous the book industry was. And me just being a fan of books and a fan of reading, it's like, oh, it's books. Like who, and I realized quickly that the book industry is about as tough as you sending your son or nephew to get into the NFL or the NBA. And I had no clue. And I'm like, but why? Like, it's not, there shouldn't be a competition for books. Like, it's enough places. And then I realized there weren't a lot of places for the smaller independent authors. And then the ones that happened to be published, they weren't in mainstream stores. So I'm like, well, is everyone selling? Everyone Black cannot be on Amazon. Like, this just cannot be life. And then I started to realize, like, no, legit, they, you know, like this percentage is in like Barnes and Nobles. This percentage is on Amazon. And I'm like, but why? They have amazing content. You should be able to find them anywhere. Clearly not the case. Not the case. And it is tragic. But I look at it as their tragedy, my gain. Because you guys have entrusted me with your bodies of work. And look at where we are now. So for those that don't know, I actually met Maureen at the Baltimore Book Expo back in February. Actually, the day I hit launch on my website, 2 hours later, I was at the Book Expo just looking for new authors. I was just like, I just need to find them. And, you know, Black authors, that's the perfect place when your store is catering to this need in these genre, in this climate. So I went. I literally stopped at every table. I want to say it was about 40, 45 tables. I was so tired, but I was so excited. And, you know, I just talked to you and you were so nice. You listened. You was like, no, take, you had the little cards. You were like, take them. He was like, I'm here for it. And I'm like, what? He was like, I'm here for it. I'm like, okay. I was like, well, I'll send you an email. I got all your stuff, your information. Send your email. Send the email the next day because I was on it. And like 2 days later, she was like, yes, I'm going to just send you all 3 books. I was like, what? I'm so like, I was just excited to get 1 book. I was like, you're going to give me all 3? And he was like, yeah, I'll give you all 3. And I was like, okay. I said, well, in my mind, I wanted to do like backflips and cheerleading. So not a cheerleader, but I felt like doing backflips. And I was like, well, that'd be great. And I was super honest. I was like, look, I'm getting ready to do my first pop-up. He was like, I got you. She got the books in time, came to the, I was like, that, not, I want to say eagerness, but that the humbleness and eager, because you were like, helping you helps me. And it was so like just a breath of fresh air. And this was like this was probably the first time out of my element, meeting all of these different authors. And I was just like, oh my God.
And I never knew that story. So I appreciate you sharing that. I never knew that story.
Yep. I was just like, oh my gosh. But you know, when you meet people, you have to kind of keep it, you know, calm and professional. And you will not know this, but when I left there, I walked across the street, totally got hit by a car. So crazy. I know, right? Totally crazy. Go figure. I know, right? Talked on the phone to my sister. Got hit by a car. It's crazy. But
I'm blessed that we talking right now. You got arms and hands, legs.
Everything still, I mean, thankfully I was paying attention and they weren't driving ridiculously fast. But yeah, such as, publish a bookstore, get hit by a car. That's such as life. Yeah. What do you do? But we won't complain about it because we're still here. And clearly that means they need me here just a little bit longer. And that's how I looked at it. Just a little bit longer. So let's see. We got some more more responses. We have Nia Brown that says that is very good advice. So I put in the chats prayer, consistency, and knowledge of industry, which is very key. So if you yourself are aspiring author, or you have a family member or a friend, and this isn't just for poetry or being a poet or spoken word. This is whatever genre that you want to write in, you should know your industry. And this is actually, I want to say, not even necessarily being in the book industry. If you are looking to be an entrepreneur of anything, prayer, consistency, knowledge of industry, and knowledge of your finances are the 4 key things I would tell anybody when you want to say, I want to start my own, ... Those 4 things you need. That will get you far. And I will actually add the 5th one, passion. Because if you are not passionate about what you are doing or what you want to start, your customers and your fan base can tell. And that is so, everyone that sees me or sees Maureen, they will always attest to, we always have a smile, we always answer questions, because
you can't buy authenticity. You can't buy authentic. You can't buy that store.
You cannot buy that. That is, and I feel like that is something that is ingrained in you. Mm-hmm. And that is us. And so many of us, the men and women that we have come across in the book industry, will all probably tell you the same thing. Mm-hmm. So if you are just tuning in tonight, we have Maureen Mays, and you have myself, me, owner of Legacy BookBar, and she is our Jane of all trades that is signed to our lovely bookstore. If you didn't hear before, she gardens, she writes, she paints, she's in real estate, she's in everything. And we talked briefly about her 3 books. We didn't get super in depth because starting 2021, Maureen Mays will be a part of our January book club. So we want you guys to, if you've already purchased, please feel free to RSVP and register when those links become available. Please feel free to join the chat. If you are just tuning in to, you're just a new fan to poetry, new fan to Legacy BookBar, Legacy BookBar has some shop codes. So this is your first episode and you want to say, you know what, I'm going to support, please support Maureen Mays. She has 3 titles in our store: Married It's Complicated, Love Still Smiles on Dark Days, and The Color of Life in the House of Me. Those 3 books can be purchased at www.legacybookbar.com. And when you purchase all 3 of these books, you can actually use the shop codes that are placed in the shopping cart, and you can get up to 15% off up until September the 30th. So you guys want to make sure that you purchase before those shop codes disappear. So, she is Mrs. Wills. Well, hello to you too, madam. Thank you so much for tuning in. Compassionate Designs Publishing says, so proud of you. I think that one's to you, my dear. And Renee McCracken says, yes, you have. Inspire and encourage. Keep doing your amazing things. That one's to you. So as we are talking, Maureen gave us some amazing advice on her key steps into getting into the book industry. So now that you've been writing, 10 plus years, you have 3 books under your name. what is something you wish you knew before you started?
All those things I just told you.
Yes.
I'm going to say branding though.
Okay.
All this aside, I'm going to say branding, because when I first came out, I was talking to you about being a ghostwriter and being a closet writer. If you look, that's not Maureen May.
Mm-hmm.
So I have since changed my name.
Mm-hmm.
And when you're talking about branding and stuff like that, that's a part of branding, your name.
Mm-hmm.
At the time, I was using a ghostwriter's name. So I'm gonna say branding, and with branding comes consistency. Because I took a little break. I was still writing, but I was not consistent in regards to sharing what I had done. Just wasn't consistent and didn't have the branding. So if I had to do it all over again, I would have came out with Maureen Mays and just have used my name so that the branding piece could have just been seamless. Yeah. It's almost like I have to reintroduce myself because people remember me, Najama, not Maureen, and I have to explain the whole.
Oh, gotcha. Okay. So, biggest success and failures to date with becoming an author. What would you say?
The biggest success
Mm-hmm.
is, to me, is publishing. Being able to touch and feel.
Yes.
It's almost like having a baby, and it's born, it's birth. So that would be the biggest success.
Okay.
And I'm for failure or
misstep. I mean, necessarily a failure, but maybe a misstep that you kind of fell over.
I would go back to the part about the inconsistency with the names.
Gotcha.
So yes.
Okay. So I know people are tuning in and they're like, branding. When you start your business, and everyone will tell you that branding is key, pivotal to, especially in this day and age of social media.
Yeah.
Branding and marketing is key, and I say that with all caps. I took a marketing to get Legacy BookBar off the ground, and I was this comes into the passionate part of it. I wanted to do it right. I didn't want to have to get out there and it's not right and I got to start all over. So I actually reached out to, again, Amanda Chambers, Serendipity, and just got her feedback because I knew she was in publishing. She actually worked for a traditional publishing company before she branched out on her own, and I knew she had written a book or two prior to our conversation. So I said, somebody wants to charge me, a gazillion dollars to get off the ground. This and being new, I knew I had to pay something, but I knew I didn't have to pay a gazillion dollars. Right. So I'm like, where am I going wrong, and what do I need to do? So she let me vent, and then she was like, okay, now we're done. And she's like, Menina, I teach this. I run a program. So she actually is what I consider my marketing and branding manager, because she has literally held my hand from beginning to end. And end, like, we haven't finished because I still have weekly calls with her, and I'm a year in. So
it's very important.
Very important. Because,
and just with that, when you think about prominent writers like Maya Angelou, Terry McMillan, when you think about their books, something comes to mind. A photograph comes to mind. Yep. You know a Toni Morrison book.
Absolutely.
Before you see the name.
Absolutely.
It's all about branding. I mean, Elin Harris, Eric Jerome Dickey. It's all about branding. When you start thinking about other authors, and
Mm-hmm.
what their books look like. I mean, James
Mm-hmm.
Patterson,
Yeah.
they look like something, and
Mm-hmm.
they all are consistent.
Consistent with that their personal brand as an author, and
Yes,
then the book industry brand. Like, and learning all of this was, it was eye opening, because
yes.
it was more than, I just want a bookstore. Like, why am I doing homework? I just want a bookstore. And she was like, no, sis, it's your, and because she herself was a self-published author, she had a publishing company at that point, 30 plus authors signed to her publishing company. She's like, no, sis, you are a need. And once you get your name out there, they're going to come, because you're going to service a need that they want. What you want to do is, you don't want people to bypass you because your social media looks crazy, or your website looks a bit like, you don't want that. So I was like, well, that's true. I don't want that. And even so, the ideas and plans I had pre-COVID, I have literally had to change like 4 or 5 times, because no, if that didn't work, I didn't like that. Let me
Mhm,
change
mhm,
this.
mhm.
Then COVID completely just threw everything out the window, and we were just like, well, we're just gonna start from scratch, because this right here is crazy. Um, and I've had to change branding and marketing strategies 4 times. So, well, as we're talking and people are listening, and they keep like, why do they keep repeating branding? We're saying this because, as two women in this field, we know how important it is. Um, Now, I know me personally, I have a team. If anyone is listening and you want more info as far as marketing, please shoot me a message. I will show you and pinpoint you where to go, because you want to do it right. You don't want to be passed over if you're trying to get published because your books aren't right. So knowledge of this industry, branding, consistency, all of those things are
Mhm.
a huge factor in this business. um as we're talking about those, our 5 key steps to success, what are some of your resources that you have used in your years of being an author?
I have used a couple of different publishing companies.
Okay.
Um, Not necessarily by choice, it just kind of happened that way.
Okay.
So having those different experiences,
Mhm.
exposure has definitely opened my eyes to
Mhm.
how people just do different things
Okay.
as it relates to packaging. And
Mhm.
so yeah, so definitely that's been interesting. Mhm.
Understood. Okay. Let's see here. What? Let's see. I'm trying to. I didn't send you the questions on purpose, because I like to mix up my questions as I go. Um, so you and I follow each other on all social media platforms. If outside of Legacy Book Bar, how can readers and fans find you?
Well, I have a Facebook page, author Maureen Mays. That's my Facebook page.
Okay.
I'm also on Pinterest. I'm on LinkedIn, and you can find me, author Maureen Mays. And I have a website. My website is mmauthor.com. You can also find me on Instagram at author Maureen Mays. So, yeah, so those are my handles.
I hope you enjoyed yourself tonight. It was so
I'm
nice talking to
so
you.
proud of you. Cheers to you.
Thank you. Cheers, Boo. Thank you. Thank you. So, let's make sure I didn't miss anybody's questions or concerns. Oh, wait, fans, you were supposed to put in the chat what poem you wanted Maureen to read to us. I can't choose. She has well over 100 poems. So we're leaving it up to the fans to decide. Do you have a favorite? Do you want to hear something new? Something old? You got to let us know. then she's like, she can't pick because she has so many. And she's been writing, as you heard, 10 plus years. So she's going to have her own personal favorites. So let's make sure. Live, love, life, Tanya. I hope you heard her responses and answers to advice you have for writers: prayer, consistency, finances, knowledge of your industry, and I added passion. That was my personal to her for. I'm adding passion. So hopefully you got that. If we have any authors that are looking to publish, I know I get this question a lot. Does Legacy BookBar publish books? I personally, that's not my lane. I'm not even going to try. No. But if you are looking, to self-publish and you're looking to go into that field, I will direct you to divinelegacypublishing.com. They have to date, I want to say 45, maybe 50. I know 45 for sure. 45 signed authors with over 30 books between Legacy BookBar, Amazon, and their own personal website. So I will tell anybody, they're actually an affiliate of Legacy BookBar. So you can, they have 5, maybe 6 authors from Divine Legacy Publishing that are signed to Legacy BookBar. So if you're looking, like I said, to publish, please follow or go to divinelegacypublishing.com, and I will put that in the chat. Some fans are saying something new, my dear.
They want to hear something new?
That's what they said. Someone said, I don't know, pick something. And then I got, nope, something new. So I think we're going to go with something new.
Well, I do have some things on my Facebook page that is something new. I have been working on a new book.
Okay.
These are the proofs of my new book.
Okay.
The new book. So I've been working on it all year.
Okay.
So, you know what? Let me read what I wrote last night.
Okay.
I put it on Facebook. Okay. I don't know if anyone has seen it.
Okay. So guys, we're getting ready to get a new poem by author Maureen Mays. She did post it on Facebook, but if you don't follow her yet, or you've just completely missed it, she's going to tell us in a few short moments. So stay tuned. Whenever you are ready, my dear.
I am pulling it up as I speak. So, there's just been a lot of stuff going on, just crazy stuff. And I woke up in the middle of the night, and I probably went to bed with some anxiety, to be honest with you. And this is what I came up with. This is the other day. In a deep sleep, I awoke, wide awake, with her on my mind. Thinking, if it can happen to her, it can happen to me. The crime, black and sleep. Black while at home. I don't think there are enough words in the dictionary to describe the anger, the anxiety, the hurt, the fear. What is the word that captures the emotion when you are very sad, but you can't cry? But the emotion is beyond frustration. What is the moment when your soul has been ripped from you and told that you have no value? Too many bullets to count. If Breonna Taylor was a compound word, if her name was an adjective, it would be defined by all of the above. And that still wouldn't be enough. Speechless. And that's it.
Oh my gosh, gosh,
and that's why I say my process of writing, it just comes. And when it comes, I gotta write it down. And I woke up literally, I posted this at like 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning. I just woke up with that on my mind, and I I usually have a pen on my bed, but I signed something for the kids for school or something, and the pen went somewhere, and my phone was near my bed, and I just typed it and posted.
Oh my gosh. So Karen said, "Oh wow, that's deep." And Queen Makita Booker said, "Snap, snap, snap, snap." Yeah, that was.
Thank you.
I don't
Yeah,
know.
and just breathe one more time, because that the other day that was
Whoo,
just crazy to me. That was
whoo.
just crazy. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Natasha Suberberry, and I apologize if I pronounced that wrong, said, "Love it, love it." Um, is it too much to ask for one more before we leave?
Since y'all said new, I'm going to read one that I did recently for a married couple. It was actually my cousin.
Okay.
I did a poem for their engagement party.
Okay.
They're actually dancers. That's how they met. They have an African dance troupe.
Oh wow.
So, and that's how they met. And he actually proposed while at the end of their performance, their dance. So, it's my third cousin. So my second cousin called me and she's like, "I need a poem, cousin." And I'm like, "Huh? What? Work? You got to fill out the form, and we have to."
Right.
Like, I need a poem, and it has to be about a drum, and it's for your cousin. And I'm just like, I don't even know the story. Like,
Right.
So this one really stretched me, but this is what I came up with.
Okay.
And this is for the engaged couple,
Okay.
which will be me in the future.
Yes.
A beat to a rhythm I can't resist, to move closer, naturally, seamlessly, effortlessly. See me, feel me, smell me, touch me, hear me, like the sound of the drum, until our hearts beat like one, until our souls stir, until our feet dance. A beat to a rhythm I cannot contest, to walk toward, unsurprising, inevitable, present, standing before, instead of we could have been. We advance to this is happening, a beat to a rhythm that only God could have created. So our toes tiptoe to the obedience of his beat, a beat we could not resist, a beat we could not contest, a beat that made us confess the drumbeat of love to our hearts. That's that piece.
Oh my God, that was so great.
Thank you.
Sis, you are so talented. Oh my goodness gracious.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
The next, even if it's virtual, please let Legacy BookBar know the next time you are doing a virtual spoken word. We will make sure we post it. I will register to show up. It's just amazing. So please let us know.
A lot of times on Thursday nights, I'm at the Black Love Poetry Series. I usually post it on my Facebook page.
Okay.
So I do that on Thursdays, or at least try to drop in and spit a poem. But a lot of the events, well, not even a lot, all the events that I've done in 2020 have been closed events. I'm going to have to bring a person to record, because my teenager doesn't do a good job recording for me. I'm firing the teenager.
Maybe we can work together and we can do our own virtual spoken word event. We'll do it, and I'll let you host, because I don't know. Then you know a lot more people than I do. So maybe we can do
we can open the doors to spoken word. Our host, just let me know.
Absolutely.
We can bring all the energy, bring all the poets in, bring the
yes.
Let it flow.
We're going to put that on our calendar for 2021. You and I are going to work on that together. Absolutely.
I like that.
Queen Makita said, "You are writing my engagement poem for my future wedding." So,
yeah.
I'm hitting 10 years in 2 years, so I'm gonna have you write my vow renewal, please.
Okay. I do it all. I do all of that. Yes.
So thank you so much for being a part of Legacy BookBar Sip and Chat. I hope you enjoyed your time here with us. For those that have tuned in, thank you so much for being a part of the Sip and Chat. This was episode 4. Next week, what is next week? What day is it?
October.
Is it October?
Yes, because October is my birthday month. I'm a celebrate
October.
Yes. Well, all month, all year.
Yeah. So next Friday, which would be episode 5. Oh, wow. Episode 5. Next week gonna be a little spicy, y'all. Because I'm going to have author Michelle Warren of Romance and Erotica on for episode 5. So we're going to bring a little heat to the Sip and Chat. So you're going to remember to bring your glasses of wine and maybe a little something stronger for next Friday, okay? So as everyone knows, again, if you're just tuning in, if you have, you know what, before I completely end, someone just texted me, and thank you so much for texting me. As people are learning about me, I research everything. And when I researched, what do you do in a podcast? Questions to ask in a podcast. I got so many different questions. So I kind of narrowed it down to like 12 that I knew I wanted to ask, but I don't ask them in the same order. And I don't even ask all of the same questions. But everyone always said I have to have a signature question. And I cannot believe I forgot the most important question of the night, which is the signature question.
That means you're having a lot of fun.
Yes. So, as we've talked, we've been here a little over an hour now. With your vast knowledge and vast experience in this book industry and your life experience, what do you want your legacy to be?
Ooh, I like that question.
I know, right? This is why I don't send the questions out early.
Yeah. Look, let me scoot up.
Yes.
It's funny you would ask that question because especially now, I talk to my kids about that. Legacy is very important. And what I want my legacy to be or to be remembered as, that I had passion for this art. And I want my art to be able to speak for itself. And one of the authors that come to mind who wasn't necessarily well known like that until her death was Zora Neale Hurston.
Yes.
They still talking about her. That's legacy. She had passion for this art, and it just spoke for itself. Another artist who I've also wrote a poem about is Toni Morrison. When Toni Morrison wrote The Bluest Eye, it wasn't a bestseller for years. For years. She went back to working and just living a regular life. But when you hear her interviews, when she speaks about some of the things that she was writing about and in this context, it's rich. It's so rich. And so when I think about legacy, I just want my art to have a stamp on it. Have a stamp on it where it speaks for itself.
I love it. Oh, I can't believe it. Thank you so much. I can't believe I almost forgot the most important question. Woo, but the fans held me down. They said, don't forget the question. Thank you so much for reminding me about the signature question. That is becoming a fan favorite. People actually are looking for it clearly because I almost forgot. Not to forget. So yes, having your art speak for itself, the passion behind the art. I love it. Every guest before you, it's all been different, but it's all been very similar. So I love it. I love it so much. You ladies have been amazing. Thank you so much for allowing me to hold your babies here in Legacy Book Bar. So for those that don't know me, and came to watch the podcast to support Maureen, we both say thank you so much. As you see, my name is Manina, and I am the owner of Legacy Book Bar. It is an online bookstore that caters to, but not exclusive, but definitely caters to Black self-published authors. I noticed as an avid reader that I couldn't find the new. I couldn't find that diamond in the rough. I couldn't find us in bookstores. And the only way I could legit find them was if I went to Amazon and, you got to put in, Black poets or Black urban, or Black romance. And you might get the same ones that you see all the time. You would very rarely get the new, and as a reader, it got to the point where I was like, this cannot be life. I remember one of my stories growing up was the very first Black romance novel I ever read was by Beverly Jenkins. And my mom gave me that book, and to read a romance, a historical romance. So it had real history intertwined with romance. And I just thought that was so brilliantly done. So when I went back to go purchase another book, I couldn't find her. And me being 15, I'm like, nope, I'm in romance. I'm in the J's. Where is she? And then to find out by the sales associate that her books were deemed urban and in the back of the bookstore. So 15, I'm always been a person of make it make sense. No, she's romance. And why isn't her last name is Jenkins? Right. Why isn't she with the other J's for romance? And the sales associate is looking at me like, this is what they tell me to do. I don't know. But I digress. So, 20 some odd years later, I'm thinking, I want to open up. I want my own. Like, what do I want my own to be? Where do I want to go with my personal legacy? And I've always have a book. I always have a tablet. I'm always reading something. And then that's where the spark of opening up a bookstore came from. And this is where, and it has just led to where we are today. If you want to learn more about the store, please feel free to visit legacybookbar.com. That's www.legacybookbar.com. You will find authors like Maureen Mays. You will find authors like Serendipity, Indy Jones, A.A. Lewis, Malachi Bailey, Gerald Johnson, just to name a few. We are slowly but surely getting authors of all genres to the store. So if it's something that you don't see, but you're looking for, you want to try, please feel free to send me an email. We take it all. Legacy Book Bar is doing some amazing things right now. October 3rd, I will be at White Marsh Mall in front of Bath and Body Works. I will be hosting another pop-up there. So make sure you come out and see me if you want to purchase her books in person or versus the website. Please feel free to be there. I will also be October 4th at the Baltimore Black Author Expo at Gwynn Oak Park. I will be there October 4th. I am back at White Marsh Mall, I want to say October 10th. And then through the holidays, I will be there 3 Saturdays in November, 3 Saturdays in December, getting ready for the holidays. We will be hosting our first ever virtual book summit. More news will be posted starting October 1st. So please Follow Legacy Book Bar on all 3 social media sites, Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. I think the only thing that's different is Twitter is L Book Bar and Facebook and Instagram is Legacy Book Bar. So please feel free to share with your friends, share with your families. Not next Saturday, this Saturday, September 26th. That is tomorrow. What date is it? Oh my gosh. Tomorrow, we will be hosting our September virtual book club. We will be reading Concrete King by author Elena Simone. She is a Baltimore native. So if you are family or friends of Elena Simone and you've already purchased the book, please feel free to register. It is free, so come on over to legacybookbar.com, register, and join us at 12 o'clock Eastern Standard Time for the virtual book club. October, we will actually have 2 virtual book clubs. We will be talking to Gerald Johnson with, where's my camera? Alabama Sunrise. We will be talking with him from 12 to 3 Eastern Standard Time. And then we will also be talking to Ren Thompson of Mocha Memoirs Press. And we will have our Dusk Till Night pre-Halloween virtual book club. We will be discussing Dead Heat. From what I was able to read, it's like Law and Order meets Walking Dead meets Law and Order back again. So we're going to have some really good fun with our virtual book clubs coming up. I'm trying to think, was there anything else I needed to say? I'm not 100% sure. But again, if you follow me on social media, I'm pretty sure I will be posting. Oh, no, wait. Legacy just signed their newest author. That is something cool. We have Bree Lynette. Bree, thank you so much for signing earlier this week. Bree Lynette is an author from Divine Legacy Publishing. She has written a novel called They Told Me to Love My Abuser. That title says it all. So we will also be hosting Bree virtual book club in 2021. So please stay tuned. Her books will be available for sale starting next week. So again, you'll be able to purchase that book on legacybookbar.com. Thank you, Bree, so much for signing with Legacy Book Bar. Maureen, we made it through. We got through episode 5, my dear. Yes.
We did.
Thank you so much. Thank you. I love it. Thank you. All my fans of Maureen's and of Legacy Book Bar. And if you are fans of Maureen, I hope you will now turn into fans of Legacy Book Bar. Please stay tuned for episode 6 with Michelle Warren, author of Her Erotica Poetry. So stay tuned next week. You guys have an amazing weekend. Please stay safe in these COVID streets. And we will see you next Friday night right here at Legacy Book Bar Sip and Chat. Good night, everyone.